found a room for them, right? Like actually like said, screw Kevin McCarthy. We're still going to do this commemoration. We're going to do this event. And that to me is just one small example. But I want a fighter like that, especially, I mean, talk about an issue that is not, is sort of the third rail in DC, Palestinian human rights. So one of the many things, but I like that. I want that fighter. And so I am looking to see who can distinguish themselves by being that fighter. You know, Barbara
저는
Lee.
오늘 밤에 정말로 경쟁을 추구하는 사람을 찾고 있습니다.
And we all remember her no vote on authorizing endless war to invade Iraq, Afghanistan, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That was huge. That in today's terms would probably have gone viral, but Katie Porter crushing it on TikTok. Much more viral.
케이리 포러 같은 경우에는 틱톡에서 아주 유명해졌는데요. 이런 식으로 통한 경쟁들이 아주 치열하게 일어나고 있는데요. 이를 통해서 경쟁에서 이기는 자를 저는 보고 싶습니다.
So I will see
you guys would crush it.
wanting
TikTok
a fighter,
loves
Francesca, and I will raise you. I would like to know whether Barbara Lee or Katie Porter are going to dislocate their jaw like a python and swallow Josh Hawley whole. That's what I would like to see. I'd like to know which one is literally going to shit down Mitch McConnell's throat on the Senate floor as a filibuster.
오늘 두 후보자들이 어떻게 경쟁하는지에 대해서 너무 궁금하고 기다릴 수가 없습니다.
Although the problem with that is that Mitch McConnell would totally enjoy it. Oh God, he'd be really into that. Gross.
Not to shame if that's your thing. I just assume that that's not Mitch McConnell's thing. But maybe Francesca's right.
Well, yeah. I also, you know, this is not really for you, but these are all transplant candidates. They're not born and raised in California. That's important to know. So I do also want to know.
이분들은 모두 이곳에서 뿌리를 두신 분이 아닌 다른 데서 이주해 오신 분들입니다.
Yeah, sadly it is. I think it's the one with the round ball instead of the
round ball
oval-ish. Anyway,
do we get to interview somebody now?
Let's go interview somebody.
우리 이제 인터뷰를 시작해 볼까요?
First person we're interviewing? Who can...
누구를 먼저 인터뷰를 할까요?
Welcome, City Council member of South San Francisco, the youngest City Council member on
아주 젊으신
South San Francisco, and the first openly
카운슬의 회원인데요.
Council member, James Coleman. We're doing the stand-up intros, by the way. Name is last. James
Coleman.
제임스 콜맨은
Yeah, we can hear you.
사우스 샌프란시스코 시 의원이십니다.
How's it going, James Coleman? Are you at a watch party?
I am. I'm hosting one.
Nice.
And describe
와치 파티인가요? 지금 주최를 하고 있습니다. 지금 볼링장에 와 있는데요.
And do you have the snappy shoes?
신발을 어떤 거를 신고 계신가요? 볼링 신발을 신고 계신가요? 오늘은 아니에요. 총각 파티 그런 거인가요?
You're able to pry away a couple TV screens, but they're also basketball, hockey, baseball.
하키랑 바스켓볼이 TV에서 지금 진행 중입니다. 제임스, 당신은 두 진보주의적인 후보자들에 대해서 어떻게 생각하십니까?
I think it's amazing that we have two truly corporate-free candidates running. And what I really want to hear about
지금 두 후보자가 있는 것에 대해서 너무 기쁩니다.
Number one, affordable housing. How are we going to get it built? And number two, childcare.
하우징에 관한 문제 해결하는 거, 그리고 차일드 케어에 관한 문제를 해결하는 것이 가장 큰 이슈인데요.
I don't think I knew there was pre-K. I just thought there was K, and I should have looked into that before I decided to have a kid. But anyway, there's a lot more money I have to spend.
프리케이와 킨더가른 아이들에겐 돈을 엄청 써야 된다고 하는데
to look into how to cut spending. It is a far cry from what he initially promised, which was universal pre-K. I don't know. What are your thoughts on getting into what you want from a senator from California on this issue?
캘리포니아 주 상원 후보자들에게 원하는 것이 무엇입니까?
Here to the local level, where we can support our local preschool providers and teachers. I mean, many of these preschool teachers make a lot less than K through 12 teachers.
Yeah.
And they work a
지금
couple years
교사 수가 지역사회에서 가장 부족한 문제로 부각되고 있는데요.
and then they move to a different profession. And so we need to see this be a profession that teachers see themselves going through long term.
교사들이 이 지역사회를 위해서 오랫동안 근무할 수 있는 근무 환경을 만드는 것이 큰 관건이 되겠습니다.
Every week. The thing that everybody says to me is they say, what is a Democratic senator from California going to do to defend democracy from attacks by the extreme right wing in the Senate? So people can't stop talking about it in South San Francisco. What would you like to see a Democratic senator from California do to defend democracy from attacks from the right wing?
미 상원 의원 후보자들이 민주당을 대비해서 하고 싶은 말이 어떻게 전해주셨으면 좋겠습니까?
Big oil companies, big real estate interests. And so once we get that corporate money out, I think
Yep.
we're going to our representatives represent the will of the people and not that of big money.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, James, everybody. James Coleman, give it up wherever you are. Raise your glass. Very excited. Thank you for joining us, obviously, and giving us your thoughts. And maybe we can check in.
Comedy intros and outros. Tip your
오늘
barn.
같이 참석해 주신 제임스 감사드립니다.
We have another interview coming up. We have someone else who is watching this forum with us tonight. Ariella Lara is an Oakland High School student and also a member of the Sunrise Movement, trying to fight for climate justice. Ariella, are you with us to give your take?
아리엘라는 지금 고등학교 학생인데요.
Question for you. Do you think that once a candidate can no longer identify any of the bands playing at Coachella, they shouldn't be running?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, I would say that as long as they're able to connect with their young voters, as long as they're able to ensure us like
어린 유권자들과 연결이 되는 경우에
education,
그다음에 기후 변화에 관한 교육이 이뤄지는 한
identify some bands at a Coachella. I just want them to be able to protect us, to ensure that we have a future, a livable future.
우리들이 살아갈 수 있는 미래를 제공해 줄 수 있는 후보자를 응원할 것입니다.
Looking to hear tonight from the candidates that will let you know which one you're most excited to protest by you locking your head to the desk in their office. And as a father of teenagers, I'm super hip and connected. And so how will you be able to tell which candidate has W Riz?
어떤 후보자가 어떤 것을
My kids think that's cringe when I say that, by the way.
어떤 후보자들에게
No,
무엇을
Riz
원하시는가요?
is important, but I also think Riz is about trust. I think Riz is
Riz is
about
about-
신뢰가 가장 큰 관건이라고 생각합니다.
like when we look at our candidates, I want to be able to trust them. I want them to be
후보자를 봤을 때 정말 믿을 수 있는 사람인지에 관해서 먼저 생각해 볼 것입니다.
Great way to put it. It's like, oh, it's like I want to favor them. And yeah, it's like about how they're going to handle adversity in their office, how they're going to be able to attack solutions when they're under pressure. And I think Riz in that case could work. Yeah. Like I just
압박이 있는 가운데에서 세금 관련한 문제에 대해서 해결할 수 있는 후보자를 지지할 것입니다.
I have a question about what you think, what you won't settle for when it comes to climate change and climate justice, right? Like we've got President Biden who is, very excited about rolling out electric vehicle charging stations and rebates and the doomsday clock is, I don't know, what are we at, Ariella? Like 7 years or
바이든
something?
정부가 전기차로 인한 세금 공제 혜택에 관한 것들을 제시해서 기후 변화에 대비하려고 하는데요.
action, we have to make sure that we're focusing on the intersectionality behind it, that we're honing in the idea of just that, yeah, we only have a few years left. And you need to make sure that you're honing in all different sectors, because climate change, climate justice is about ensuring that you're looking into Brown and Latinx communities, that you're investing in our education, that you're investing in our healthcare. I think intersectionality plays a big part in that, because climate change is a pressing issue.
기후 변화는 엄청난 이 세상의 큰 재앙입니다. 이것을 문제를 해결하기 위해서 intersectionality라는 교차성에 관한 것을 로 인해서 우리가 이 문제를 정말 집중적으로 해결해야 됩니다.
And so I always go back to that point of how like climate change is about climate justice.
Yes. Love it. NATO?
I'm just sitting with the profundity. Climate change is about climate justice. Taking it in. I'm getting it tattooed on my forehead.
이마에다가
Ariella, anything else that you want to
문신을
add?
새기고 싶네요.
Like, what else are you looking for? Or is that, I don't know, because I didn't understand Riz, so I kind of like, I blacked out while you were talking about that, because it was just like so.
Okay, boomer.
Riz is an interesting way to put it, but I want to like end it off with like talking about the Green New Deal and the Green New Deal for schools specifically, because this is a campaign that is really focusing on building better buses and better buildings, honing in and reinvesting on renewable energy in our schools. It's about
재생산 가능한 에너지와 버스 문제, 기후 재앙에 관한 모든 이 문제들을 변화시키는 게 지금 저에게는 가장 큰 관건입니다.
Like the Green New Deal for schools and something that was proposed recently, and so this is something very important to me, and I just want to end it off
지금
there.
저에게 중요한 것은 이러한 문제들로 인해서 학교에 크게 운동하고 있으며 이 문제를 해결하기 위한 활동을 열심히 하고 있습니다.
Riz is as my kids tell me, Riz is short for charisma.
Yeah.
So they talk about who has Riz and who doesn't have Riz.
It did sound like swag. Like I felt like it was like.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, we don't
So,
say swag anymore. I
We don't.
guess.
Yeah, we said. Yeah, we're from the 90s.
나인티에서
any final thoughts about
GS에서 온 사람들은 스웩이란 말을 잘 모릅니다. 오늘 가장 난감한 질문은 무엇이 될까요?
Palestine. So somebody here.
팔레스타인 문제가 아닐까요?
That they're going to have to answer tonight is going to be about Palestine.
Wrong.
팔레스타인에 관한
Wrong? You don't think that's going to be the hardest question?
The toughest question is.
문제가 가장 큰 문제가 아닐까요?
Can we wait a year?
그 문제는 한 1년 정도 더 기다려야 되지 않을까요?
To me, the toughest question is, can we wait another year for Dianne Feinstein to not do anything?
그 문제는 아마 어려워서 1년 정도 더 기다려야 될 수도 있겠습니다.
The toughest question is like, what is it going to take to stop the right-wing attack on democracy and the entire planet?
Yep.
And how are we going to do it?
Yeah.
So-
And how much urgency are you going to be working with when you're in there? And also, how do we off Adam Schiff non-violently?
How do you off non? I mean, yeah, right. So, given minority capture of democratic institutions by the right wing and all the non-majoritarian tools in place in terms of the Supreme Court and the filibuster and the Electoral College, like how do we create a democracy in America?
Yeah, and also, how do you actively troll Kirsten Sinema? Do you just wear the things she's already worn on the Senate floor?
Yeah.
Like, do you do the mini backpack and the tutu? Do you do the sort of like the big bird, at the Met Gala look? Because I would just straight up roll it. Like that's what I would do. And she just
I think you should get some Kristen Cinema hair, Francesca. You should dye your hair the Kristen Cinema color.
it's coming. Look, I just, I need a very intense midlife crisis. And
That's a horrible thing to say about your child.
Oh no, it's happening. I'll get there, guys.
Okay.
Oh man. Let's get this started.
Let's get it started.
Enough from us.
I want to introduce my friend, our host, the director of the California Working Families Party, former supervisor from San Francisco. Ladies and gentlemen, Jane Kim.
Working Family 당의 스테이트 이사로 주 이사로 일하고 계신 제인 김 모셨습니다.
We are really excited to be here, and there is a ton of anticipation to hear directly from our candidates who are running to succeed. Dianne Feinstein.
지금 우리 상원 의원 후보자들을 응원하고 지켜보기 위해서 많은 사람들이 오셨는데요.
From neighborhood restaurants and bars and neighborhood centers, and we have large watch parties in Sacramento, Oakland,
지금 와치 파티도 있고 샌프란시스코에서도 오셨고
Gilroy, Merced,
산호세도 오셨고
Fresno, Bakersfield,
오클랜드,
Los Angeles, Ontario,
사우스 샌프란시스코, 엘 리오, LA에서도 모두 다 오셨습니다.
So we're asking everyone to capture the moment and
모두
take
다
a photo of your watch party or record a selfie video.
와치 파티 사진을 캡처해서 WFP 해서 지금 SNS에 올려주시기를 바랍니다. 트위터에도 올려주시고 오늘 밤 질문을 하나 하도록 하겠습니다. 지역사회에서 오늘을 빛나게 하기 위해서 많은 분들이 수고하셨습니다.
That prioritizes corporations and billionaires over everyday Americans. We're creating a political home here in California for individuals who share a belief that a wealthy nation can and should invest in us and the success of everyday Californians. And this commitment includes Medicare for all,
캘리포니아에서는 의료,
free public college, and affordable housing for all.
퍼블릭 컬리지,
We believe this agenda is
이 모든 문제들이
if we organize together.
많이 해결될 수 있도록
WFP elected 6 new progressive champions to Congress.
활동할
in
것입니다.
incredibly competitive Democratic primaries, including Greg Cesar, Dalia Ramirez, Summer Lee, and Maxwell Frost. And we want to play a major role in California in 2024. So join us. California can and should lead for the nation. This is a state that overwhelmingly voted for Bernie Sanders to be our Democratic nominee in 2020. And it is a state where the future shows that 3 out of every 4 eligible voter under 30 is a person of color. We want a senator who is going to represent and champion working Californians. And joining WFP as a dues-paying member will support our work to recruit and identify candidates up and down the ballot, and then help them when they are elected to win and pass the
저희
Working Families agenda. And you can join us by texting CA Senate
WFP에 가입을 하셔서
bottom of the screen. So text CA
저희 당을 지지해
Senate
주시기 바랍니다.
All right, and I want to give a big shout out to the 12,000 members strong Writers Guild of America.
오늘 크게 기뻐할 일이
Who, by the
있는데요.
way, entertained and comforted us through the pandemic.
누가 팬데믹 동안에 우리들을 위해서 얼마나 많은 수고가 있었을까요? 이번 주는 교사들에게 감사하는 주입니다. 3,000명이 넘는 교육에 종사하시는 분들, 이 모든 것들을 워킹하기 위해서는 이 학생들과 교사들, 지역사회 모든 분들이 열심히 일을 해주셨기 때문입니다. 오늘 컨그레스이신 바바라 리를 소개해 드립니다. 미국 상원의 후보자이십니다. 오클랜드와
has since 1998, and she serves on the Budget Committee and the very powerful Appropriations Committee
1998년부터
of federal government spending. Lee
캘리포니아에서
similar to our Sunrise High School students,
활동가로 일을 하셨고
organizing with the NAACP to become the first Black
NAACP
and integrating her cheerleading squad.
를 설립하셨으며
Congresswoman Barbara Lee.
미국 상원 후보자이신 바바라 리를 소개해 드립니다.
We have an opening question for you,
질문이 있습니다.
which is why do you believe you are the best candidate for the Working Family
왜
Party?
당신은 최고의 후보자라고 생각을 하십니까? 먼저 여기에 초대해 주신 것에 너무나 감사드립니다. Working Family 당이 있어서 그 가치는 제 인생에서 말로 표현할 수가 없습니다.
For people who live below the poverty line, and yes, for the middle.
Working Family는 빈곤에 처한 가정들을 위해서도 열심히 일하셨고 20만 명이 넘는 가족들을 빈곤에서 벗어나게 해주셨습니다.
I've always fought for working families and low-income families.
Working Family 당은 여러 가지 면에서 시민들을 위한 단합을 보여주셨고 지역사회를 어느 누구보다도 열심히 일해주신 당입니다.
I've been very involved on our housing issues. I've worked with Senator Sanders when he was in the House. I actually led the House bill for the Housing Trust Fund.
주택 문제가 아주 심각한데요. 캘리포니아에 있는 분들은 희생자가 되지 않기를 바랍니다. 젊은 사람들은 기회가 많이 주어져야 되고 희망이 있어야 됩니다. 주택 문제는 해결돼야 할 가장 큰 문제입니다. 그렇기 때문에 여러분들은 저를 믿으셔야 됩니다. 지구촌에 의한 기후변화에 관한 활동을 제가 해오고 있습니다.
Climate justice and making sure that the U.S. pays to repair the damage of what we have done abroad, but also here in the United States.
우리가 이 지구에 가져온 데미지를 치유하기 위해서는 정말 책임감 있고 이 지구의 온난화를 문제를 해결할 수 있는 후보자가 필요할 때입니다. 이 사회가 좀 더 다양한 민족과 인종으로 구성된 모두를 존중하는 지역사회가 되어야 합니다.
So thank you for also timing your answers appropriately. We are providing 3 minutes.
감사합니다. 시간을 맞춰주신 것에 대해서.
Your timer go off at 30 seconds. So our next question.
다음 질문은
Income and wealth inequality today in our country than ever, surpassing levels that we have not seen since the 1920s, almost 100 years ago. The top 1% now receives 45% of all new income in this country and has witnessed a staggering $21 trillion surge in wealth. Meanwhile, the remaining 99% of Americans find themselves working longer hours and multiple jobs just to make ends meet. California,
1920년 이래로 거의 100년 동안에 상위 1% 되는 사람들이 45%에 해당하는 비구조적인 인컴을 생산하고 있으며 지금에서는 21조에 해당하는 부채가 있습니다. 그럼에도 불구하고 99%의 모든 시민들이 대부분의 시민들이 일을 더 열심히 해야 되고 돈을 벌기 위해서 현장에 나가 있습니다. 직업적인 불공평한 이 문제를 연방 정부를 통해서 어떻게 해결하고 싶으신가요? 차일드 텍스 크레딧은 너무나 중요한 것입니다. 저소득층에게 꼭 주어야 할 텍스 베네핏이며 이것을 더욱더 확고하게 이루어질 수 있도록 하겠습니다.
Of excessive compensation. So we have to really tackle the gap between corporate owners and corporate leaders and the average working man or woman.
지금 회사에 아니면 직업적인 불공평에 관해서 큰 회사들에게 세금을 많이 부과하고 국민들에게는 많은 세금을 공제하는 방향으로 통해서 이 문제의 격차를 줄여가야 할 것입니다.
Which Jimmy Gomez has introduced. So it's important that we understand that the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer, and we need to have fair distribution of the tax burden, and it should be on major corporations.
지금 세상은 부자는 더 부자가 되고 가난한 사람은 더 가난하게 되는 이 노동의 불공평에 대해서 해결하도록 최선을 다하도록 하겠습니다. 주 세금에 관해서는 추가적인 텍스 브래킷을 만들어야 됩니다.
We need to make sure that people understand that they are eligible. I've had in my district, no one knew about the EITC until I started.
저소득층과 중산계층들이 EITC를 통해서 많은 혜택을 받을 수 있도록 해야 합니다.
And that took off. Finally, we got organizations, nonprofits to conduct these conferences so that working families would be aware of and be able to benefit from the EITC. And so we've got to have a tax system that's fair. And we've got to make sure that, finally, I'll just say in terms of our democracy, we've got to get money out of politics and overturn Citizens United, because as long as corporations are seen as people, then come on. We have an unfair political system, which just won't work for working families and for ordinary people. who really
불공평한 정치적인
to change in this country for the better.
Thank you, Congresswoman.
비율에서 공평한
So we are now gonna
비율로
start
옮겨져야
working around the
합니다.
state, and we are headed down to San Jose. And I want to introduce our next interviewee, the first Indian American elected to the California legislature and a Working Families Party champion, Assembly Member Ash Kara. A former public defender, he's the author of numerous criminal justice reform bills, as well as Medicare for All in California. And he will be asking the question, which won in our Twitter poll this week. Assembly Member.
All right, well,
인디안계 미국 분이신 아시 칼라를 소개해 드립니다.
Working Families Party, Congresswoman Lee, it's always an honor to have the opportunity.
Working Families 당과
I know you may have, I think you and Congresswoman Porter left me messages, but I was waiting for tonight to have the opportunity to hear from both of you. And I'm happy to respond back, but I wanted to start by asking.
를 대표해서 이 자리에 나오게 된 것을 영광으로 생각합니다.
As you know, a strong majority of Californians support guaranteed health care
아시다시피
by expanding Medicare coverage. Congressional Budget Office estimates that Medicare for All would not only save at least 40,000 lives annually, but also reduce healthcare spending by up to $650 billion a year. Presently, there are only
지금 의료
co-sponsors
비용이 증가함에 따라서 문제가 심각합니다. 모두가 메디케어를 받을 수 있는 방향을 잡도록 해야 됩니다.
This life-saving and cost-saving reform gains the backing it deserves and enables this vital legislation to progress. And the last part of it is, in your capacity as our senator, what would you do to facilitate the passage of Medicare for All bill specific to California, something that I'm working on very closely with our beloved nurses. So please, Congresswoman, tell us your thoughts.
Well, first of all, let me put this in context, because from day one, I introduced the first single payer bill when I was in the California legislature. I mean, this goes back to the day in the early 90s. I moved forward, and when I was elected to Congress, then it was Senator Hilda Solis picked up the single payer bill that I had introduced. And I have fought for single payer practically all of my life. I actually lived in Great Britain, and I know what a healthcare system is that does not have the profit motive in it. And so we've got to get the profit motive and corporations out of healthcare. Also, when it comes to single payer and Medicare for All, Congressman Conyers, and I think the bill was HR 676 early on in the I think it was 98, 99, when I first came to Congress, introduced that bill. I think I was the second or third co-sponsor on that bill. And it's so important, once again, that Medicare for All be championed in the Senate. And if there are only 12 co-sponsors in the Senate, I think what I would do is organize with you. I'm an organizer. I was a community worker with the Black Panther Party. I was the organizer for Shirley Chisholm's campaign. I've always organized, and I would be with the Working Families Party.
저는 항상 Working Family에서 단체를 설립하고 민주주의를 위해서 일을 해왔습니다. 우리 모두가 메디케어에 대해서 허가할 수 있도록 해야 합니다.
Who tried to get President Obama then to put a single payer option in the Affordable Care Act. And we fought like you would not believe. We could not get him to do that because the votes weren't there. So we said, okay, if you can't do single payer as an option, then put in a public, a public option. Well, we had to fight to get a public option.
만약에 싱글 페어 빌이 옵션이 아니라면은 이것은 공공의 의결에 의해서 결정이 되어져야 합니다.
But that was the reality of what happened during those negotiations. But we did get provisions in for health equity and for a lot of other issues that people of color and low-income people, you know, so
헬스케어에 관해서는 모두가 공평하게 혜택이 돌아갈 수 있도록 해야 합니다.
around the end of the COVID pandemic. And so we have many issues to deal with in the healthcare space, but we have to get Medicare for all passed. I fully support it. And like I say, I've been doing this in terms of single payer and making sure that corporations don't run the healthcare industry. It's got to be people powered healthcare.
싱글 페어 빌이 통과되고 회사들이 직접 운영하는 헬스케어나 메디케어는 저지되어져야 한다고 생각합니다.
Thank you, Congresswoman.
감사합니다, 의원님.
All right, our next questioner is Michael Tubbs, the youngest mayor elected in the city
가장
of Stockton, California, and was featured in the HBO documentary Stockton on My Mind. He is now the founder of End Poverty in California and is a special advisor to Governor Gavin Newsom. Michael, welcome.
가장 젊으신 분이기도 한데요. 빈곤 종식의 엔드 파버티의 설립자이시기도 합니다. 오늘 워킹 패밀리에 함께 참여할 수 있어서 매우 기쁩니다.
It proposed programs such as universal child care, which we heard about earlier today, paid sick leave, and
우리
tuition.
모두가 차일드 케어가 공평하게 이루어지는 법안이 통과되어야 된다고 생각합니다.
Income, and as you said, cut child poverty nearly in half in 2021. Unfortunately, these key
빈곤에 있는 자들은 차일드 케어의 혜택을 충분히 받을 수가 없습니다.
So my question to you, Congressmember, as a senator, which specific components of this legislation would you prioritize for reintroduction, active advocate for, and
아주
success?
구체적으로 어떤 법안이 이루어져야 된다고 생각하십니까? 후보자님들. 그리고 그거에 의한 긍정적인 효과에 대해서 설명해 주시기 바랍니다. 좋은 삶이 모든 사람이 이루어지는 것이 가장 우선시 되어야 된다고 생각합니다.
If they had that to pay for child care services. We didn't get that done because of Senator Manchin and Senator Sinema. And so we have to have a system. Let me tell you, when I raised my two children,
아이들을 키우는데 7%의 인컴에서 사용될 수 있도록 해야 됩니다. 제가 어렸을 때 아이를 키울 때와 지금 2023년도에 차일드 케어 시스템이 달라진 게 하나도 없습니다. 저에 관한 가장 중요한 안건은 이 모든 격차를 줄이고 모두가 차일드 케어에 대해서 혜택을 받고 인컴을 충분히 받을 수 있도록 그래야 차일드 케어에 대한 비용을 또한 사용될 수 있도록 하는 게 가장 우선시 되어야 된다고 생각합니다. 정치 이전에 모든 사람들이 먼저 중요시 되어지기를 바랍니다. 가치 있는 삶을 위해서는 더 많은 정보와 이용할 수 있는 제도들이 필요합니다.
don't have to scrape and don't have to worry about how they're going to feed their family in California, but rather know,
캘리포니아에서는
for example,
우리 자녀들을
that
어떻게
people feed
먹이는가에 대해서 고민하지 말아야 합니다.
while they raise their kids and find a good paying job. So it has many, many legs to it, but I wouldn't want to prioritize because everything is needed for our working families in California. And we should not have 20 million people living one paycheck away from poverty in the golden state of California.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Our next questioner is a Burger King worker in Oakland and one of the key leaders in the fight
오클랜드에서
and the
버거킹에서 근로를 하신 알론드라 허넨더스를 소개해 드립니다. 이분은 캘리포니아 패스트푸드의 조직 위원이십니다.
And Alondra will be asking this question in Spanish, and I will translate after.
Ok, buenas tardes.
스페니쉬로 말씀하겠습니다.
Oakland y soy líder de la lucha por 15 y un sindicato. Bueno, Biden se proclama como el presidente más prosindicato de la historia. Sin embargo, existe una gran brecha entre lo que se dice que hace y lo que realmente se hace. Hay leyes como el PRO Act y el Employer Free Choice Act que aún están pendientes, mientras que los esfuerzos de sindicalización han cobrado impulso sobre todo el país. En particular, 300 ubicaciones de Starbucks se han sindicalizado con éxito. Y en California, 500,000 de trabajadores de comida rápida, como yo, aseguramos establecer estándares mínimos en toda la industria. Y aún así, se están desafiados por corporaciones multimillonarias para el voto en noviembre del 2024. Ahora mi pregunta es, ¿cuáles son sus planes específicos para fortalecer la protección de los trabajadores y garantizar que tengamos una voz en el trabajo, incluyendo nuestros derechos como sindicalizados? ¿Y qué medidas han propuesto para mejorar nuestros derechos de los trabajadores y empoderar a los trabajadores como yo?
Good evening from Oakland. President Biden says that he is the most pro-union president in history. However,
바이든
there's a
대통령께서 말씀하시기를
proclamations and actual policy implementation. Essential legislation such as the PRO Act and the Employee Free Choice Act
이
remains
모든 법안들이 실질적으로 운용이 되고
nationwide. Notably, 300 Starbucks locations have successfully unionized. And in California, 500,000 fast food workers have secured the ability to establish industry-wide minimum standards, which are now unfortunately being challenged by big corporations on the November 2024 ballot. What are your specific plans to fortify worker protections and ensure that employees have a voice in the
근로자들을 위한 법안은 어떤 것들이 있으신지 말씀해 주시기 바랍니다.
Well, first, I fully support the PRO Act, and we have got to move forward to make sure that we strengthen worker protections. That's the first thing. And
우리는 근로자들을 보호하기 위한 법안들을 만들어야 합니다.
That's a big priority for, I know, working men and women labor unions. But also in California, let me just say the Fight for 15, I want to thank all of you for that, because I've been on picket lines in Oakland, in New York, all over the country in the Fight for 15 and fighting for 15. But you know what? We need a living wage. We need to make sure
우리는
that
정말 살아갈 수 있게끔 하는 수입이 중요합니다.
because in California, how in the world are people going to live off of $15 an hour?
캘리포니아에서는 절대로 시간당 15불을 받고 일을 할 수가 없는 주입니다.
And whenever labor speaks in terms of labor policy, I've always supported labor. Companies
근로자 법안에 관해서는 스타벅스나 아마존이나 패스트푸드나 식당들에서는
be penalized for union busting tactics. And we should outlaw the right to work laws across the country. And I would work very hard to do that. My past shows that I would be persistent in continuing with this fight in the Senate. It's very important.
계속적이고 지속적인
Barriers for organizing and not allow the big bosses to put these barriers in the way. And I saw what happened in Alabama, for example, with Amazon workers and what they did there. And it was just
근로자들의 임금을 보호하기 위한 법안이 분명히 지켜져야 된다고 생각합니다. Working Family 당뿐만 아니라 다른 기관들도 모두 함께 지역사회를 위해서 민주적으로 모든 사람들의 목소리가 들리고 들을 수 있는 그런 적극적인 당이 되어야 됩니다. 우리 같은 소수 민주자들은 더욱이 더 권리를 찾도록 최선을 다해서 노력해야 됩니다. 상원에서 민주당원들이 많이 뽑히도록 우리 모두 투표를 하고 참여를 적극적으로 해야 합니다. 저는 이에 맞서서 당당히 밖에 나가 싸우도록 하며 캘리포니아를 위해서 200만 명이 넘는 캘리포니아 시민들을 위한 상원 의원이 되도록 할 것입니다. 30분이 이렇게 빨리 지나갔나요? 너무나도 감사드립니다. Working Family Party는 훌륭한 일들을 하시면서 모든 사람들을 위한 돕기뿐만 아니라 이 제도를 바꾸기 위한 노력을 게을리하지 않습니다. 기후변화에 관한 정당성에 대해서 논의하는 Working Family Party에 감사드리고 모든 의료 제도와 하우싱에 관한 문제들이 민주당원으로서 모두 다 열심히 일해서 문제를 해결할 수 있도록 해야 합니다.
In terms of waging war and letting any president use force, whenever we see our party doing what is not in the best interest of the people, I'm going to take them on and stand strong and not back down. And so thank you all very much.
저희 당은 평화적인 것을 항상 바라기보다는 사람들이 하기 꺼려하는 일들을 앞서서 일을 할 수 있는 후보자가 될 것입니다. 감사드립니다.
Thank you, Congresswoman Barbara Lee, for joining us tonight. If you want to learn more about her candidacy or
바바라
volunteer,
리 와주셔서 감사합니다.
at Barbara Lee for CA. At Barbara Lee for CA.
소셜 미디어에서는 바바라 리 CA
and Alondra Hernandez for your
를
leadership
쳐주시면 됩니다.
Californians and your insightful questions tonight. So we're
Thank
going to
you.
go back to our political spin room with Nato Green and Francesca Fiorettini.
Nato,
프란체스카 피오렌티니와 네이토 그린 나와주시기 바랍니다.
That was great.
Hey, yeah, it was great. I loved it. How are you doing? What do you think?
I'm fine.
You
Is
know,
there
I have
more?
to say,
아주 좋았습니다. 어떻게 생각하나요?
Specifically shooting down Josh Hawley's throat.
I know.
I feel like she really fumbled the bag on that one.
아주 편안하게 말씀해 주시는 것 같아서 좋았습니다. 네, 그렇습니다. 실망시켜 주지 않아서 너무 좋았습니다.
They're clapping. I don't know if you can tell, but they're clapping for Jessica. They're very
여러분들이 박수를 쳐주시고 계시는데요.
It was incredible to hear about. I have to say, like, my personal favorite moment.
아주 가장 좋았던 점은
How much, DeSantis and all these conservatives are like obsessing about cancel culture and woke and stuff, and to have Barbara Lee just come out and say like, I was a Black Panther.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, like
아주
like, oh, what are you gonna do? Cancel me? And then her be like,
겸손하게 자기는 본인은
we need more of that energy in politics.
Yes, I think
블랙팬더였다고 농담을 할 수 있을 정도로 편안하신 분이었습니다.
The youngs would love it. No, but
아주 젊은 분들은 이런 코멘트들이나 이런 발언들을 아주 좋아할 것 같습니다. 바바라 리에 관해서 정말 좋은 점들이 많았습니다.
It can be a blessing and a curse, to be honest with you, right? It's a blessing, and you think, all right, this person. I mean, obviously, Representative Lee has so much experience, but is
리
there
대표자님께서는 아주 경험도 많으시고요.
one to shy away from that challenge? And I love that she
예의도 바르시고요.
spending multiple times, to say nothing of the organizing background. So anyway, yeah, them's my thoughts.
I also like that she talked about
여러
wanting to
기관들을 설립하신과 동시에 지역사회를 위해서 많은 노력을 해오신 분임에는 틀림이 없습니다.
I think we can compromise that millionaires can be 3/5 of a person.
I like that.
That's my reparations plan.
지금
Yeah.
100만 장자가 3분의 5분의 3은 된다고 봐야 되지 않을까요?
But I do disagree on the calls for single payer because, as much as I like the idea of
컬스
everyone.
싱글 페어에 관해서는 반대를 하는데요.
But I really love my insurance claims adjuster. I have a deep personal connection with my insurance claims adjuster and the actuaries. So
I've already
that those
memorized
people
like how to actually speak to a real
그런데
person.
실제로
All the numeric order I need to punch in to the phone, and so like I feel like single payer now.
이 의료 제도가 바뀐다면 제가 그동안 함께 잘 일해왔던
I just feel like I don't want single payer.
보험 비용 처리사들과 관계가 틀려질 수도 있을 것 같습니다.
We like bureaucracy.
That's right.
Oh God! All right.
So is there?
우리는 민주주의를 사랑합니다.
So how do you feel as a parent? Does it affect you? The idea of extending the
부모님으로서는 어떤 생각이 드신가요?
I literally got pregnant like a few months outside of the window, and I was like, no, right? So by the time we pass it again, she'll probably no longer qualify because she'll be 18. But no, I'm just kidding. Things move very quickly in the Senate. Kill me.
It's famous for its swiftness.
Yeah.
All right. Should we? Are you ready for the
Let's-
next candidate, Jane? Can we move it?
다음 것으로 진행해도 될까요, 제인?
Can we go? Demonstrating the incredible, Francesca, you can't see it here, but demonstrating the incredible resolve and commitment of the Californian left. About 60% of the audience arrived 45 minutes late. So the people of San Francisco are definitely ready to reclaim democracy, provided it doesn't require showing up on time.
This is why we can't win, people. Come on now. Come on.
And on that note, we're going to do a quick selfie video recording of our crowd for social media. So we're going to start now.
지금 소셜 미디어를 위해서 금방 셀피 비디오를 얼른 찍도록 하겠습니다.
All right. If it's not on social media, it didn't happen.
소셜 미디어가 아니면 이루어질 수가 없습니다.
A candidate who made history as the first Democrat to flip the 45th, now 47th congressional district in Orange County.
오렌지 카운티의
A law professor, a mother of 3 school-aged children, and is known for her exceptional
3명 자녀의 어머니이시기도 하고 법대의 교수님이시기도 하고 작곡도 하시는
billionaire bank corporations. Welcome, Congresswoman Katie Porter.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
환영합니다. 케이티 포터 상원 후보님 어서 와 주시기를 바랍니다. 이런 자리를 만들어 주신 Working Family Party 너무나 감사드립니다. 함께 일하는 동료인 바바라 리 너무나 감사드립니다. 오늘 행사에 같이 참여할 수 있어서 영광으로 생각합니다. 난감한 질문들을 서로 주고받으면서 그것을 대답할 수 있는 그리고 지켜낼 수 있는 의회의 상원이 뽑힐 수 있기를 바랍니다.
I set a new example for Congress by being the only person to ever serve in both leadership for the Congressional Progressive Caucus, where I was number 2 last caucus, and also being a frontliner with one of the toughest races that Democrats were facing. You can do both, win tough races and be a progressive, because in fact, progressive values are winning values. And so I want to talk a little bit about what I've done politically and then get a chance to talk with you more about policy in our conversation. So thank you very much. I'm excited. I don't know if you have an opening question you want to ask, but I'm ready.
Well, great. And thank you for taking the time to be with us this evening. Our opening question is, why do you believe you are the best candidate for the Working Families Party? And what is your strategy?
왜 Working Families Party에서 가장 우선한 후보라고 생각하십니까? Working Family 당은 가장 진보적인 당으로 캘리포니아에 자리 잡고 있습니다.
And to be able to win tough races, to elect folks at every level of government who are going to fight for our shared values. I am a strong, tough campaigner. I have not.
이 중요한 자리를 통해서 민주주의의 중요성을 다시 한번 강조하며 알리고 함께 일할 수 있는 계기가 될 수 있는 기회로 생각하고 있습니다.
executives with big oil, big banks, or big pharma. And I am proud to be the only candidate in this race who can say that they have never taken corporate PAC money. Even as I can also say I was the strongest
지금 아주
Democrat.
큰 문제로 되고 있는 대기업, 석유 대기업, 은행 기업, 이 모든 큰 회사들이 자리매김이 되지 않기를 바랍니다.
Often with the whiteboard. There's this canard, some of you may have heard this. In Washington, it gets repeated on the ground in California, that candidates have to take corporate PAC money in order to win tough races. And I have shown that that is not the case. And I am committed to continuing to help those like-minded candidates win. We need to keep building out our progressive bench. That's a partnership that I want to have with the Working Families Party and all of our local activists.
진보적인 파트너십을 통해서 저희 당이 유색 인종이면서 여성인의 힘을 발휘할 수 있는 당이 당에서 여성 후보자가 뽑혀야 큰 힘을 발휘해 대형 기업에 especially for first-time candidates, women, and people of color. I think California needs a leader in the Senate who knows how to win tough races and will help candidates at every level of government in 큰 자금에 의해서 운영되는 사회가 아닌 우리들의 목소리가 크게 들리고 유색인종들의 목소리가 높여져서 들려질 수 있는 사회가 되어야 되기 때문에 제가 뽑혀야 됩니다.
Particularly when these medications are affordable in neighboring countries, but inaccessible to many Americans. Specifically, what
많은 의약품들이 모든 시민에게 편하게 살 수 있는 입장이 되지 못합니다. 이 문제들을 해결되기 위해서 캘리포니아에서는 어떻게 해야 된다고 생각하십니까? 워싱턴에서는 선거에 관한 소문들이 돌고 있지만 이런 거짓말에 맞서서 싸워야 합니다.
And that work that I have done exposing Big Pharma has helped push Congress toward real solutions. I passed a bill.
함께 일을 했던 빅 파머들과 문제들을 해결할 수가 있었던 적이 있습니다. 인플레이션을 감축할 수 있는 방안도 논의되어야 하고요. 의약품들이 더 이상은 비싸게 하지 않도록 제도를 마련해야 되고 싸워야 합니다.
Smaller pharmaceutical companies that would otherwise be competitors. And what this does is make prices higher and
작은 의약품 회사들도 약품을 제공하며 큰 회사들에게 독점되지 않도록 해야 합니다.
which is where Big Pharma pays off companies that would otherwise be willing to step into the marketplace and manufacture competitor drugs or generics. We also have to put an end to Big Pharma's product hopping or patent thickening, where these are tweaks to pre-existing drugs that are designed to simply undermine competition and prevent the rise of generics that would bring down costs. I salute California for leading the way in boosting competition in the pharmaceutical industry. I am glad that they are going to take to manufacturing drugs like insulin, and I hope that this is a model that other states and the federal government.
캘리포니아에서는 인슐린과 같은 의약품들이 모든 사람들이 접할 수 있게 저렴한 가격에 접할 수 있는 주가 되도록 해야 됩니다. 대형 회사들이 약품에 독점하는 것을 막아야 됩니다. 월스트리트가 큰 의약품 회사와 관련 지어지는 것을 막아야 합니다.
I want to introduce Andrea Guerrero, a social justice advocate and executive director of Alliance San Diego, who will be representing the team at Southern Borders Community Coalition, who could no longer make
안드레아 구에레로를 소개합니다. 샌디에고에 있는 얼라이언스 연맹의 중역 이사로 일하고 계십니다.
The question I have for you is this. We can all agree that the immigration system is broken. Millions of people, including in my own family, who are eligible
이민자법이 정말 형편이 없습니다. 수백만 명이
on international human rights commitments made in the aftermath of World War. In 2 hours, the health
인권에 관해 많이 침범을 당하고 있습니다.
And as I speak, there are border agents who are preparing for a show of force that is anything but welcoming to children, women, and men who have suffered unimaginable trauma. Instead of passing the
여성과 아동들, 노약자들이 받는 고통은 이루 말할 수가 없습니다.
What will you do to turn the page to provide pathways to citizenship, protect human rights, and hold border?
인권을 보호하며 이 사람들을 보호할 수 있는 방법이 무엇이 있을까요?
One of the things I made very sure to do as representative is to go on the ground to the southern border in California for myself, to listen to the stories of those who are being hurt by Title 42, to visit the Mexico side of the border, to see what the challenges are that are being created with the administration.
우리들은 타이틀 42를 보호하고
Where would refugees go? How does the screening occur? What are barriers our advocates facing?
사람들이 어떻게 고통받고 힘들어하는지를 직접 가서 보고 경험을 해야 합니다.
What do I do if I wanted to apply for asylum? And the answer to that question was silence. Because as you point out, there is no line for so many people who need to seek refuge in this country. There is no process. And that is a lot of what's driving that more than anything, I would say, from my observations and conversations, is what's driving the chaos and the challenge that we are seeing for migrants, for migrant communities, for border communities.
무엇이 이 망명자와 이민자들을 힘들게 하는지 가까이 들여다볼 필요가 있습니다.
You are absolutely right. Our failure, congressional failure to enforce
우린 의회적인 실패를 경험하였습니다.
to their own efforts, while the most vulnerable, women, children, LGBTQ people, the elderly, they are getting left behind in this process.
성소수민자뿐만 아니라 어린이, 노약자 모두 다 인권을 보호할 수 있는 법안이 필요합니다. 정말 의미 있는, 정당성 있는 망명자를 위한, 이민자를 위한, 우리 시민들을 위한, 우리를 위한 정당성 있는 법안이 만들어져야 되고 실천되어야 합니다. 의회는 지금 동안 이러한 문제들을 투명하게 보는 것에 실패를 하였습니다. 드리머들과 소외된 계층의 이 사람들이 인권을 되찾고 이 지역에서 살아갈 수 있는 법안을 만들어야 합니다.
And now I'd like to introduce Torm Nampasert, a senior organizer with Asian Pacific Environmental Network, a California
톰
organization
nombrasert를 소개해 드립니다.
refugee communities and neighborhoods that are on the front lines of
이분은 아시아 태평양 환경 네트워크에서 활동을 하시고 선임 설립자이시기도 합니다.
I have lived in Richmond almost 50 years. Richmond, California. California is considered
리치먼드 캘리포니아에서 50년 동안 살아왔습니다.
the seventh largest oil producing state in United States. And my community in Richmond live on the front line with a refinery. Alarmingly, also approximately 14% of California population, predominantly community of color, reside within a mine from active oil and gas well. I am worried about the planet we are leaving behind for our children, our grandchildren. We raised 11 children and now have 28 grandchildren. So I want to have a leader who is courageous enough to push rapid and unprecedented action to protect our home. The Working Family Party strongly support a Green New Deal and want to wind down on the drilling and fracking. Here's my question for you. First is, do you endorse a federal prohibition on a new fracking and drilling permit, as well as fracking and drilling ban within 2,500 feet from homes and school? The second question is, which aspect of the Green New Deal would you prioritize and also actively champion during your first term as a senator? Thank you.
Thank you very much for your question. Congratulations on your wonderful and amazing big family. And I want to thank you for coming to us from Richmond. I used to live in El Cerrito, and so I have seen exactly what you described. And of course, represent Orange County, where we have oil wells in Huntington Beach, onshore and offshore. I am really excited about the Green New Deal's commitment to growing our unionized.
Green New Deal 커밋먼트가 있어서 정말 좋습니다. 이것은 노동자 문제 해결뿐만 아니라 그린 뉴 딜은 이
from dirty energy to clean energy be an excuse to bust unions, to weaken workers,
이 나라에
create new hardships for
궁극적으로
families.
그린 에너지를 만들어내는데 크게 이바지할 수 있는 상정안입니다.
It's not just an energy bill, it is also an economic opportunity and workforce bill. We can have cleaner
이것은 단지 깨끗한 에너지를 생산하는 것에만 머무르지 않고 많은 일자리를 창조할 수 있는 것에 중요성을 두고 싶습니다. 캘리포니아는 다양한 민족이 함께 사는 가장 대표적인 주이기도 합니다. 미국 상원으로서 이 상정안이 실천되고 이루어지고 또 그 효과를 보기까지 상정안에 사인을 할 때까지 기다릴 수가 없습니다.
And that was signed into law. And I'm now working on holding big oil responsible for cleaning up the messes that they have made in communities like yours.
이 오일들을 크게 생산하는 것만이 가 아닌 이것을 또 어떻게 깨끗하게 처리하느냐도 큰 관건입니다.
Next speaker is down in Los Angeles, Maria Briones, a Los Angeles member of ACE.
리오나 브리너스는 로스앤젤레스에서 오신 분입니다.
Maria, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for inviting me. Good evening to everybody. My name is Maria Briones. I'm representing ACE.
제 이름은 마리아 브리오니입니다.
And my question is,
지역사회 권한의 연맹의 회원이기도 한데요.
of all the abuse with the housing that we have right now. Concerning evictions, which were once common and rare in our country, are now widespread, with hundreds of thousands of Americans forced out of their homes annually. Evictions are not just as the condition of poverty. While we do not have comprehensive national data on evictions, eviction seems to disproportionately impact women, specifically single mothers, as well as older people and immigrants. Housing is often seen as the responsibility of local governments, but we are facing a national housing affordability crisis. How would you fight to protect more families from evictions, and would you support some formal rent control at the federal level? Apparently,
어떻게 하면 빈곤한 가정들이 하우싱 문제로 크게 문제되고 있는 이 상황에 대해서 어떻게 문제를 해결하고 싶습니까?
During the foreclosure crisis, and was able to work with ACE in Los Angeles to work on issues of blight and
로스앤젤레스에서는 foreclosure 문제 등 아주 큰 문제들이 많이 있습니다.
seen firsthand through that work what it means when a family loses a home, whether it's to foreclosure and homeownership, whether it's to eviction as a rental. Eviction is devastating.
추방당하는 것이 가장 큰 문제인지, foreclosure가 가장 큰 문제인지, 그 문제들을 미리 들여다볼 필요가 있습니다. 무엇보다도 모든 가정의 웰빙이 중요합니다. 3명 자녀의 싱글맘으로 저도 생활하고 있습니다만은 싱글맘으로서는
being a victim of eviction, as well as one of the things that makes you most likely to face rental discrimination. I think the federal government needs to stop
렌탈 차별의 가장 큰 벽골을 경험하고 있습니다. 이 선거운동의 첫째 날부터 제가 할 일은 미국 상원으로서 주택 문제 해결이 가장 시급한 것으로 생각되고 이를 해결하도록 하겠습니다.
Not a single hand went up. That is a real problem for our state, that young people do not see an economically secure future here.
캘리포니아 가장 큰 문제는 젊은 사람들이 하우스를 소유할 수 없는 아주 힘든 상황에 있습니다. 집을 소유하는 것은 큰 것들을 의미합니다. 퇴직연금과 관련한 주택 문제 위기를 해결하기 위해서 민주당으로서 연방 정부로부터 섹션 8을 포함한 문제들을 해결하기 위해서 모든 개개인 한 명당 모든 사람들이 주택 문제로부터 벗어나길 벗어날 수 있도록 일하겠습니다.
Thank you so much. I just want to close by talking.
마지막으로 한 말씀만 해주시기 바랍니다.
Oversight is about being a watchdog for families, for their budgets, for their tax dollars, for their retirement savings. Oversight is core to who progressives are and what they fight for. Groups like working family parties fight so hard to get things passed, but we need to make sure those laws are actually working as intended. We can't let politicians take a victory lap.
저는 법안들이 만들어질 때 그 법안이 실제로 이행될 수 있도록 강가되지 않고 모두 다 법안들이 실질적으로 이루어질 수 있는
Thank you.
상원
Thank you, Congresswoman Porter.
후보가 될 것입니다.
So we hope that everyone has enjoyed tonight's forum and we're able to learn a lot more about the two incredible candidates that are running for U.S. Senate in 2024.
오늘 밤 2024년 상원 후보자 두 분을 모시고 질문과 대답하는 시간을 가졌습니다.
We're dedicated to identifying and recruiting candidates to run. And we are launching a campaign camp this summer in support of that. So
두 후보자를 위해서 저희 당에서는 여름에 선거 운동을 합니다.
If you are interested in applying, check out our posts on social media right now. Register and we will follow up with you immediately.
5월 22일 6시에 있을 행사에 참여하기 위해서 SNS에 포스트가 되어 있는데 등록을 하시고 참여할 수 있기를 바랍니다. 오늘 설문조사를 하는데요. 어떤 후보자가 마음에 드시는지 Working Family Party 캘리포니아에 누가 최고의 후보자였는지 설문조사 해주시기 바랍니다.
Along with all of our member leaders and member affiliates. And I want to give a big, big, big shout out to Jorge Contreras, our senior campaign manager, who is still working by taking photos right now and flawlessly
우리
managed every
지금
aspect of this event while still making time to cheer for the
사진을 찍고 계신
Go Warriors.
선임
And because we're California, go
선거
Lakers.
활동
Yeah, come on now.
자이신
Want California to win.
에게
Now,
큰 박수를 드리고
our
싶습니다.
political correspondents, Nato Green and Francesca.
네이도 그린에게도 프란체스카에게도 큰 감사의 말씀을 드립니다.
A tight three?
네이도
No, I'm not
타이트리를 할 건가요?
my usual loose rambling 11 perhaps. Hey, did you guys have fun?
즐거운 시간 되셨나요?
Excited that Jane said that the Working Families Party is recruiting candidate camp to train people to run for office because I don't know if you've seen the people who are in office, but some of the current people in office leave something to be desired. They have small shoes to fill. So please step up, everybody.
모두 다 제인이 소개했던 것과 같은 선거 활동에 참여할 수 있길 바랍니다. 자리가 많지는 않습니다만은 많은 참여 부탁드립니다. 팔레스타인에 관한 문제를 오늘 해결하지는 못했지만
So she will have to answer in written form or possibly a doodle using the whiteboard.
Yeah.
후보자들은 팔레스타인에 관한 문제에 대해서 두드를 사용하거나 서면을 통해서 답해야 될 것 같습니다.
While she was talking and she was talking about what it was like to go door to door as a progressive in Huntington Beach, I had like a PTSD flashback to performing a sold out show for 500 people at the Irvine Improv Comedy Club.
Yeah.
Which really felt like being behind enemy lines. And I just did my usual, like overly thinky left wing kill the rich.
예전에 했던 공연에 의해서 트라우마가 좀 있는데요.
And afterwards, like there were,
그 이후에
they had sold out of white wine because there were so many white women there. And they came up to me like after the show, I was
클럽
standing up
매니저가 와서 백포도주가 모두 백인 여자들에 의해서 팔렸다고 하는데 했는데요.
Don't tell our husbands, and we're going to foreclose on your entire neighborhood. So it was sort of really that energy.
NATO only performs in safe spaces.
Yeah.
San
농담을
Francisco,
주고받는 중입니다.
That's right.
parts of Los Angeles.
Parts of Los Angeles. Yeah.
No. Look, what I think is very different about the two candidates that jumped out at me is how specific Representative Porter was. She does the kind of specificity that makes your eyes glaze over, but in a good way. And I
두
think
후보자들이 하우징에 관한 차이점은
she makes me feel like she's got it. And I'm like, oh, good. You're talking about big pharma, but specifics, not just like big pharma's bad, but no, like all of the shenanigans they get up to. Talking about the workforce transformation in the Green New Deal, which I think is so important. Like, it is very easy to
그린
make
뉴 딜에서
the right to react
강조하면서 말씀하신 부분들과 큰 회사들이
reiterating what it is
큰
and not breaking it down into
제약
what feels less
회사들이
scary. And I feel like Representative Porter does have a way
독점하는
breaking these issues
것에
down,
대해서
making them feel
반대하는 의견을 말하는
but more
후보자의 구체적인
right? Like we have to
설명들이 좋았다고 생각합니다.
And so I thought she came armed with specifics, which I mean is kind of what we expect from her at this point.
뿐만 아니라 후보자들의 아주 구체적인 문제 해결 방안들이 아주 인상적이었습니다.
She was like talking about oversight. I was like, oh, this sort of makes my heart pitter patter a little bit. I didn't realize I would feel my pulse quicken at the thought of oversight. So
yeah, it's
I
like
thought
when
maybe gun
Bernie
control or free healthcare, but no, it's actually oversight. It's really exciting, sexy issue.
I mean, this is Working Families Party in California. We had
오버사이트를 언급하셨던 해리 포러의 상원 후보자의 의견이 인상적이었습니다.
it's something important. I just wanted more. But anyway,
I also wanted to like it just felt like tonally like I appreciate that Porter began by like being super gracious about Barbara Lee and about the interpreters. Like like we're in a moment where so much of politics feels so like spiteful and toxic, and having people run against each other and be like, I also like this other person. You know, that's just it was like a refreshing change.
포러의 발언 중에 단지 경쟁자로서 아니면 뿐만 아니라 그것보다는 상대 후보자를 격려해주고 반기고 또 이 자리를 빛내주신 여러분들께 감사드리는 것이 인상적이었습니다.
You can't beat fascism just with, like grandstanding. You need a plan. You need a long game.
You can't beat fascism with grandstanding? That's
no,
like
they're really good at that.
Have you been to San Francisco? That's like our whole that's our city motto.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. It's like
지금 파시즘에 대해서 얘기를 하고 있는데요.
to me. Did you know that Schiff was tried to get into the Congressional Progressive Caucus and was booted out, or he had to rescind. It was like in Fight Club when you have to pledge, and you like wait on the porch for days and days. That's how the Congressional Progressive Caucus works. And the first rule of it is you're not allowed to talk about it, which is probably why we don't really have progressive change.
Right. I appreciate that Katie Porter talked about home ownership and the response to the question from the person
해리
from A.
포러가 후보자가 말씀해 주신
As everyone knows, home ownership is key to
홈 오너십이 되는 것은 중요한 문제라고 말씀하신 것에 인상적이었습니다.
I want your
they're
junk mail.
showing us pictures of the watch parties. That's very cool.
Everyone looks amazing. You look great, and I hope you're still watching now. Hell
Look
yeah!
at that. So, can I talk to the people here? So, people here in San Francisco, how did
여기에
you?
오신 샌프란시스코 여러분들
Did anyone change your mind based on?
오늘 이 말씀을 듣고
I'm going to.
Just do the screamometer.
마음을
This is the illusion of democracy.
바꾸게 되신 분이 있으신가요, 혹시?
What they say unless they have a mic, Nato.
Oh yeah. So I said it was a debate, and someone argued that it wasn't a debate. It was a forum. So they want to make sure they're being a watchdog on the rules of procedure.
Yeah, we got the Senate
They're
parliamentarian
exercising
up
oversight,
in here.
and then Jane Him pointed out that I could call on people instead of specifically instead of just throwing to the audience in general. Sydney, come talk to me.
시드니 오셔서 말씀 좀 해주세요.
That's fine.
Oh man, you're walking Oakland. You're
Yeah.
walking Godfrey Plaza too. You're
Oh, wow.
walking
Okay.
the rooms here.
Sydney, what's your full name?
Sydney Simpson.
And you were with the Harvey Milk Club, and you're a member of the California Nurses Association. Is that right?
That's correct. How did you know that?
Because you told me that 7 minutes ago.
제 백그라운드를 어떻게 아셨나요?
And so how did you feel watching the debate?
출근 전에 들었으니까요. 이 오늘 발언이 어떻게 마음에 변화를 주었던 발언들이 있었나요? 오늘 아주 좋은 기회였던 것 같습니다. 두 분 다 여성이고 민주당이고 아주 열심히신 두 분이었습니다.
And can I ask you, so the Milk Club is a
어떤
venerable LGBT
딱 한 명을 선정하기란 어렵고 두 분 다 훌륭하셨습니다.
like legislative onslaught attacking our trans siblings in states all over the country, including recently at Walgreens in San Francisco. Like what is important in the Milk Club watching this candidate forum in this race?
So interesting that you just asked that.
What are the odds?
I didn't tell you that. We just started the trans.
I just have 7 LGBT flags right in front of me to remind me that I might want to ask a related question.
Ask a gay question.
성소수자에 관한 질문을 할까요?
If you don't live in the Bay Area, if you would like to join up, we just started.
베이에리아에 사시든지 안 사시든지
So we'll be focusing on issues such as Banco Brown. Thank you for bringing that up as well. But again, I mean, I hate to like be a sellout, but both of these candidates would do right by us, you know? So like, I love that I have like 2 really good choices in that sense, but that's not the answer that you want. I'm sure.
Does that make you a sellout?
I don't think that.
두 후보자 모두 성소수자에 관해서 아주 우호적인 의견을 주셔서 저는 어느 분을 선택하는지 선택하기 어렵습니다.
This is why I pay too much to live here. This is why I pay so much to live here.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Sydney. Thank you, Milk Club, for co-sponsoring the event.
Come talk to me.
Okay.
If you want to join the Milk Club.
Talk to Sydney if you want to join the Milk Club. What did you say? The new catchphrase? Ask some gay shit. Over there.
저희 밀크클럽에
Is there someone? One of the other sponsors is SF.
조인 하실래요?
Rising has come up. Okay. Okay, yeah, you gotta show the colors.
I might be the only SF Rising person. Actually, no, that I shouldn't say that. There's lots of us here.
We're all SF Rising people.
Thank you, NATO.
Okay, so tell the people, because there's 1 million people watching over stream. Tell the people about SF Rising.
SF Rising is a
10만이 넘는 사람들이 지금 이것을 시청하고 있는데요.
we have been pushing for progressive candidates for over a decade. We are pushing an agenda for working class communities of color that really stands up to corporations and tech and developers.
오늘 의견들이 우리가 원하던 근로자를 위한 원하는 내용들에 관해서 들을 수 있어서 너무 감사했습니다.
What are your nefarious master plans for the future of the city?
Ooh, nefarious master plans. Well, if I share them, they won't be as powerful. I think it's great that our work speaks for itself. I think we're in numbers actually smaller than people think, but when it's election time, we go hard and we knock doors.
And so watching the Senate forum and hearing what the candidates said, did you hear anything that surprised you?
어떤 후보자의 말씀이 깜짝 놀라게 한 게 있었습니까?
Just as a congressperson, she was a Black Panther. She got involved as a young person because she saw
의원으로서 아주 험불하게 블랙팬서라고 말해주시는 것들과
That's great. And cool.
아주 겸손하게 우리들과 눈맞춤을 하면서 대화를 할 수 있는 분들이라는 것에 대해서 깜짝 놀랐습니다.
Did you have any of the food?
I had like 20 shrimp egg rolls and my stomach hurts just a little bit.
And is that good or not good
Yum.
for knocking on doors to like do when you try to
20개가 들어간
have to poop a little bit?
새우 에그롤을 먹어서 배가 좀 아픕니다.
I don't know how to answer.
Okay. It
Good
seems
job,
like a
Nada.
good point. What?
I will say
Yeah.
what really fuels good campaigns is boba.
Oh,
Oh,
note to self. Get the
Boba.
boba. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. SM
um,
Rising, everybody. Find Celia if you want to sign up.
this is so nice to be
지금
connected.
보바티를 말했나요?
Californians. Now I'm just
뭐라고
gonna
한
get
것
moved,
같은데.
everybody.
Oh, wait. Francesca's about to cry.
Let me just get my crystals over here representing Los Angeles. I don't have my crystals with handy. That's probably why this room is cursed. But it's just nice to connect through out about, you know, California's around this state. We have so much work to do. We are so many, and we really need to be leading the charge. And I can't effing wait to be represented by hopefully one of the two of these candidates in the US Senate, because I would feel so much I would want to lock myself to their desks, because I feel like they would have nice desks and they'd like bring us water and stuff, you know, and like they're, you know, I feel like their staff would, you know, give us shrimp egg rolls.
There'd be good snacks at the
Yeah.
office occupation. That's a really good point.
Absolutely.
It's a thing to look for in a protest.
No,
Jane, is
but
there
I-
anything else you need to cover, or can we bring it home?
Let's bring it home.
Oh, so Jane Kim is informing me that translation was available in Cantonese, Korean, Spanish, and American Sign Language. That's incredible. Speaking of our subversive California values that we're trying to inflict on the rest of the country, is including everybody. Radical ideas like that. Well, thanks everybody. Thanks for being here in person. Thanks for watching online.
Thank you.
Oh, it looks like they're like gradually fading me out on the screen here.
Yeah, you're
So
being-
I think someone
you're
in a
being
control
pixelated
room
out.
wants me to shut the fuck up. So with that, everyone buy Jane Kim 11 drinks. And thanks so much, Working Families Parties, and good night.
Good night. Follow me on social media. Franny Fio at FRAN. Follow
find
NATO Green.
Francesca's Patreon.
Listen to the Bituation Room podcast. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Later.
감사합니다.